Today we're going to go over lesson 13.5, day 2. We're going to continue practicing finding the area of non-right triangles using this equation that we talked about the other day. And then we're also going to continue practicing the law of sines as we solve triangles for the missing sides and angles. So taking a look at number 1, we need to find the area of the triangle and round our answer to the nearest tenth. Remember, in order to use this equation, we have to be given two sides and the angle that is between those two sides. So if you look at number 1, we are given two sides, which are 26 meters and 30 meters, and we are given that angle in between, which is 68 degrees. So this one's ready to go. We can substitute everything into our equation. So we have the area of this triangle equals 1/2 times 26 times 30 times the sine of 68 degrees. If you plug that everything into your calculator and round to the nearest tenth, you should get 361.6 meters squared. All right, let's take a look at number 2. In this problem, we are given one side only. We don't have a second side. We are given two angles, so we could figure out all three of our angles by subtracting those from 180. But even if we have three angles, we still do not have two sides. So for this problem, there is not enough information for us to solve for the area. Okay, number 3, we need to solve the triangle and round to the nearest tenth. So we will be using law of sines to help us solve this triangle. Remember, the first thing that I like to do is just write out what do I need to solve for. I can see that I am given angle Q and angle P, but I am missing angle R. I am given side Q, which is 17, but I am missing side R and side P. So those are the three things that I need to find. The very first thing that I'm going to do is find that angle R, because I know that I can just subtract my other two angles from 180 degrees. So 180 minus 37 minus 98. And that gives me angle R equals 45 degrees. All right. So now I know angle R, I don't know side R. I know angle P, but I don't know side P. And I know both of my angle Q and my side Q. So when I set up a proportion using the law of sines, I'm for sure going to use my Q's because I'm given both of those. So the sine of angle Q over side Q. So that's sine of 37 over 17. That's going to be on one side of my proportion. And then it really doesn't matter if I solve for R or P next, because I know the angles but not the sides. So either one, we're going to have to do both. So let's just start with side R. So we know that angle R is 45, so we can say the sine of 45 over R. Okay, now that we have our proportion, we can cross multiply. So R times the sine of 37 equals 17 times the sine of 45. To get R by itself, we divide both sides by the sine of 37. So go ahead and type that into your calculator. 17 times the sine of 45 divided by the sine of 37. And if we round to the nearest tenth, you should get 20.0. Alrighty, last thing we need to solve for is side P. So I'm going to set up one more proportion. I'm going to start with that same thing. So sine of angle Q over my side Q equals the sine of P, so the sine of 98 degrees, over little p, which is my side. I can cross multiply. I get P times the sine of 37 equals 17 times the sine of 98. Divide both sides by the sine of 37. So that gets us P by itself. We can type all this in. 17 times the sine of 98 divided by the sine of 37. Round to the nearest 10th, and you should get 28.0. So now we have solved all of our missing parts, so this problem is finished.